This is Jennifer Gonzalez welcoming you to episode 100 of the Cult of Pedagogy podcast. In this episode, I'm going to share one of my favorite posts called Lessons in Personhood. So we have reached episode 100 of this podcast. In the nearly 5 years that I have been doing this, I have learned so much. My ideas about teaching and learning have evolved way past the point where they were when I left the classroom. And so much of that growth has come from the guests that have appeared on this show. I want to take a moment to thank them all for sharing their time and wisdom so that you and I could learn from them. If you're relatively new to the podcast, I would urge you to comb through the archives, which you can explore by going to Cult of Pedagogy and just clicking podcast. I have always strived to make every episode on topics that would stand the test of time, so an episode that was made 4 years ago would still be incredibly relevant and useful to you today. For at least a year, I've been trying to figure out what I wanted to do to mark the milestone of 100 episodes. I had some ideas, but none of them seemed quite right. Finally, I came to the conclusion that I didn't really want to do a special episode. I didn't want to change up my regular habit of sharing ideas and insights that you could take into your classroom and use to improve your teaching. So finally, I decided to share with you a post that I wrote a few years ago called Lessons in Personhood. It's a post that I contributed as part of a series put out by Kathy Rubin on the Huffington Post. That month, education writers were invited to answer the question, how can a teacher best demonstrate leadership in the classroom? It seemed like a pretty broad topic, a topic that is still just as relevant today as it has ever been. And so this is what I came up with. Lessons in Personhood, 10 ways to truly lead in your classroom. They are watching. Every moment students spend in our rooms amid the business of the day, the paper pushing and content coverage, amid the setup and tear down of projects, they hear everything we say. About ourselves, about the world, about them. They watch how we handle ourselves when we're pressed for time and when we receive gifts and when we screw things up. So yes, deliver your curriculum. Yes, provide rich, hands-on, authentic learning experiences. Offer rigorous academic challenges. Raise the bar, coach and guide, nurture, push, advise. But also be. To truly lead is to pay attention to who we are in the downtime, in the margins. To help them become the best people they are capable of becoming, we must first be those people. We can do it in these ways. Number 1, lead with imperfection. Try things you're not good at, right in front of them. Demonstrate a spirit of experimentation. Speak of your mistakes without judgment. Number 2, lead with assertiveness. Show them how a self-assured person says no. Show what it looks like to set firm limits without apology and without hostility. 3, lead with relationships. Let them hear you laugh with other teachers, prioritize loved ones, and speak respectfully of your significant other. Let them see what healthy relationships look like. 4, lead with language. Use the right words to describe concepts. Avoid dumbing things down. Savor a good word when it presents itself. 5, lead with self-control. When a student makes you angry, think of how you tell students to handle their own anger. Then do that. 6, lead with manners. Say please and thank you. Avoid cutting people off mid-sentence. Have sensitive conversations in private. Respect other people's time. 7, lead with quality. Take a few extra minutes to get something right. Do what you say you're going to do. Proofread. Number 8, lead with humor. Laugh. Be silly. Don't take yourself too seriously. Avoid mocking or ridiculing your students. Mock yourself instead. 9, lead with enthusiasm. Share your obsessions. Geek out on the things students think are uncool. Show them that it's possible to fall in love with a forest, a perfect pizza crust, the moment when a song changes key. Number 10, lead with humility. When you don't know something, say so. Allow for the possibility that you might occasionally be wrong. Check your ego. Apologize. To stand before children, share physical space with them day after day, is a rare privilege. In every minute we spend together, they will learn something. Whatever it is we put before them, they will learn from it. Let's make it good. Thank you so much for continuing to listen to this podcast. I have lots and lots more ideas to share and guests to talk to, and I don't have any plans to stop anytime in the near future, so I will be back soon. To read the original Lessons in Personhood blog post, visit cultofpedagogy.com, click podcast, and choose episode 100. To get a weekly email from me about my newest blog posts, podcast episodes, and products, sign up for my mailing list at cultofpedagogy.com/subscribe. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day. This podcast is a proud member of the Education Podcast Network. Podcasts for educators, podcasts by educators. To learn more, visit edupodcastnetwork.com.